What do you think of when you envision a farm? Pigs rolling in their mud puddles, chickens wandering about pecking the ground, cows grazing in a pasture? These are the typical image a person usually sees when imagining a farm. But is this really the case? According to some legislators and animal welfare activists, animals in farm productions are treated very poorly and inhumanely, and that specific laws should be passed for the benefit of their conditions and well-being. Hello, my name is Erin Hastings, and my reading is on Jen Fifield's article, Farmers Push Back Against Animal Welfare Laws. In the article, Fifield elaborates on the controversy between farmers, businesses, and animal organizations. She also discusses the struggles farmers are facing due to these proposed legislation. The main idea behind the article is that animals are suspected to be treated poorly due to the consumer need for livestock production. In other words, there is a lack of space to make up for the high demand in the meat market industry. This lack of space means that animals are unable to be housed comfortably. Because of this has upset the Humane Society, and legislators have decided to take action in order to preserve the believed welfare rights of these animals. However, these proposed legislations are primarily affecting small farms in comparison to large-scale farms. An example, my farm versus a Walmart corporation. Results cause rise in prices due to the inability to meet the rules that are set. The purpose of this article is to inform the reader. Consumers are more concerned about the treatment of their products, which is understandable. They want to know every detail concerning the product that they decide to purchase. It also talks about the environmental aspects surrounding where animals are housed, the hormones put into their feed, and so on. Throughout the article, Fifield examines both sides of the situation involved in this controversy. However, she primarily supports the farmers, and I would have to agree with her. Farmers are not abusive to animals, and part of this issue surrounding this legislation stems from the ignorance people have in reference to large industrial farming versus the small family farms. The small family farms don't have the efficient compatibility production options to meet the demands set by these legislations. The consumer demand takes a toll on a farm's abilities because of the space and the laws that are now set in place. Also, with the new rules set in place, it will cause a rise in the prices. So I have to ask, is it really worth it? Fifield compares the difference of perspective as buying a black and white TV versus a color TV. She also proposes the question, what happens behind barn doors? Well, what happens behind barn doors isn't necessarily what the media always portrays it to be, and what these organizations believe happens. I would have to say I'm a little biased, being a farmer myself. My families are all farmers, and it's just what I've grown into. So I oppose the legislation. But I also understand that people have a right to know what they are purchasing. I also believe in animal rights, and I believe in personal and privacy rights for these farmers. I believe one of the biggest issues is the fact that most of these people behind these legislations have never stepped foot onto a farm, and they don't understand the hard work and dedication that it takes to efficiently get the products that consumers demand for out there. I also found some interesting points in this article. The main one being that McDonald's and Walmart are committing to using only suppliers that raise cage-free hens by 2015. This would be great news for the Humane Society. However, it will also cause an 18% rise in the egg cost per dozen. It's also an interesting fact stated by the farmers that they do reason with the consumers, because we buy from the same shelves that you do. So there is understanding from the farmers and the consumers. In conclusion, I believe in supporting our farmers and not letting biased legislation skew the perception of the hard work and dedication put into farming and livestock production. I agree that it is important to have the best quality being a consumer. However, strict legislations that primarily affect small farms only cause more harm and create greater struggles for the farmers to meet the regulations. Fifield shows reason with both sides in the argument, but emphasizes the importance of not throwing so much legal weight on the backs of farmers due to biased organizations, as they do the best they can with their standards. Thank you for your time.